The words did not just hurt, they trapped me. You are not allowed in the house until you apologize. The door closed softly. There was no slam or drama, only the quiet click of the lock. That small sound felt heavy in my chest. I stood on the porch holding a grocery bag with melting ice cream, my spare key still warm in my hand. For 32 years, this house had been mine. For 15 of those years, I shared it with my son. Now, at 62, I was treated like a guest who stayed too long. I did not cry, argue, or knock again. I walked to my car, sat behind the wheel, and took a deep breath. By sunset, the house was no longer theirs. I built that house brick by brick. I bought it at 30, a simple 2-story home with a creaky staircase and a neglected backyard. I worked double shifts as a hospital administrator, skipped vacations, and fixed leaks myself because hiring help felt too expensive. I raised my son Daniel there alone after his father left when Daniel was 7. The house saw every part of our lives: laughter in the halls, slammed doors during teenage fights, and quiet apologies at night. When Daniel married Lena, I welcomed her and gave up my master bedroom so they could have more space. I changed my routines, stayed quiet, and told myself families grow when egos shrink. But egos do not always shrink. Sometimes they grow. I ignored the first boundary. It began with small things. My coffee mug was moved because Lena liked things cleaner. My framed photos were replaced with abstract art that meant nothing to me. My Sunday breakfasts were stopped because they wanted to sleep in. I told myself it was temporary, that new marriages needed space, and that love meant compromise. Then the family meetings began. Lena sat at the dining table like a manager giving reviews. Daniel, once my loyal son, avoided my eyes. We just think, Lena said carefully, that some boundaries would help. Boundaries in my own house. I nodded, smiled, and agreed. That was my mistake. The breaking point came over something very small. I reorganized the pantry. I had lived there for decades and knew where everything belonged. Lena saw it as an invasion. You had no right, she snapped. I laughed nervously and said it was just shelves. No, she said sharply, it is control. Daniel stepped in, not to calm things, but to support her. Mom, you crossed a line. I waited for him to joke. He did not. You need to apologize, Lena said. Until then, it is best if you do not come back into the house. Not your house. Not our house. The house. That is when the words hit me. You are not allowed in the house until you apologize. They expected tears, begging, and obedience. What they did not expect was silence. I left quietly. I drove to a park and sat on a bench until sunset. I thought about every mortgage payment, every scraped knee I cared for, and every night I worried about bills. Something became clear inside me. I was not being asked to apologize. I was being pushed out emotionally. So I called a real estate agent. The agent thought I was joking. You want to list today? Yes. Your family lives there. I live there, I said calmly. They are just staying. By evening, the process had started. The house was in a good area, and offers came quickly. I did not tell Daniel or Lena. I was not taking revenge. I was taking back my dignity. Daniel called around 10 p.m. Mom, where are you? I am fine. You cannot just disappear. Lena is upset. I said softly, I am upset too. There was silence. Did you apologize? No. Another pause. Then he said, I guess this is on you. I took a breath and said, no, this is on me, but not the way you think. 2 weeks later, the sale was final. Only then did I tell them. We sat at the same dining table where I once helped Daniel with homework. I sold the house, I said simply. Lena laughed and said it was not funny. I told her I was not joking. Daniel's face lost its color. He said I could not do that. I told him I already had. Lena stood up and asked where they were supposed to go. I folded my hands and calmly said that was not my responsibility. For the first time, they had nothing to say. After that, they called me cruel, heartless, and manipulative. The family took sides. Some said I should have stayed quiet. Others said I was brave. I moved into a small apartment near the sea. I drank coffee on my balcony and slept without the tight feeling in my chest. Daniel did not speak to me for months. Then one evening, he came alone. He said softly, "I did not see it." I thought keeping peace meant taking her side. I nodded and said peace that hurts one person is not real peace. His eyes filled with tears. He said, "I am sorry, Mom." I hugged him, but I did not offer my home back. Some lessons must stay learned. The lesson is simple. Respect is not a favor. It is the base of every relationship. When someone makes you earn dignity in your own space, they have already crossed a line. You do not owe apologies for existing. You do not owe silence to keep others comfortable. Sometimes the bravest thing is not staying, but letting go. When you stop begging for a place at the table, you remember that you built the table in the first place.